Hello everyone, welcome back to another tutorial. So today we are going to work on this beautiful fanny pack or waist bag. Look at the beauty of the bag. Actually, it's a request from some of the subscribers and I promised them I'm going to do it. So today I want to show everybody how I achieved this. Fanny pack is very beautiful. But before we start, I want to show you something. Did you see this? How about this one? Very beautiful. A handmade bag. I made them myself. And look at this pretty one too. This color, which one do you like? They are all available in my Etsy shop, so please visit and pick up one. I have the link in the description box down below. I also have a coupon code in the description box down below for anyone who wants to buy. Thank you so much for your support. And now let's get into the video. Welcome back. Hello. So on my table here, this is what we are going to work with. I have this faceted bead white and I have the same faceted bead in yellow color. This is a regular yellow I'll be using, regular yellow. And they are all in 8mm. This is 8mm. This is also 8mm faceted bead. So we are going to start. This is my plier. And this is my fishing line. This is how it looks like. This is the thickness and it's 50 pounds. This is how it's looking like, fishing line, okay? And the thickness is in 50 pounds. This is 50 pound fishing line I'm going to use to make this bag. Let's put this aside and start. So I'm going to start with 3 beads. I'm going to put 3 beads on the line. We are starting with 3 and I'm going to cross. This is 3 beads I put on the line, okay? So I'm going to cross the last bead with my other line and pull. And this is what we have. Okay, this is 3. And now on each line, I'm going to drop one bead on it like this. So I put one bead on each line and I'm going to cross it with the 3rd one and pull. Like this. This is how it's looking like. I'm going to repeat the same thing again. I'm going to drop one bead on each line and I'm going to cross both ends of my line into the 3rd bead and pull. Now we have 2 boxes. This is how it's looking like. I'm going to repeat the same thing, one on each line. And I'm going to cross both ends of my line into the 3rd bead and pull. So if you do that, you're going to have something like this. This is 3 boxes that we've made so far. 1, 2, 3, okay? And now we need 5. I did 5 over here. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I made 5 boxes. And what I'm going to do here, the way I start with 3, I'm going to end with 3. So this is 3 we start with, I'm ending with 3. So I pick up 2 and I'm going through the last bead. This is how it's looking like. We start with 3 and it ends in 3. And this is how something you should have, okay? Now let's continue. So on this line, 3 bead. Cross and pull. This is how it's looking like. This line, 2 bead. So I'm going to hold this line that I put 2 beads on and pull the end through the top bead and pull. And now what I'm going to do here, I'm going to use this line into this and this bead. So I'm going to use this line to go through this side bead first and come to the down bead. I'm going to cross it into the down bead. And on the other line, this one, I'm going to go through the middle bead right here. This one, I'm going to go through that and come to the same bead. Now I'm crossing it into the same bead that I crossed the first one. This is how it's looking like. Now I'm going to turn it, flip it over so I continue. Okay, now my line is in that bead. I flip it over because I'm right-handed. I'm going to turn it on the right. Now I'm going to the next bead, and I'll be adding 2 beads. This line, 2 beads. Now I'm going to go through the next bead and I'll be adding 2 beads. Into the next bead, two bead. Next bead. So we go through all the edge bead and add 2 beads. So I'm adding 2 beads over here too. Into the last bead. And I'm going to add 2 beads. So now I'm coming to the top, go through the top bead and add 2 beads. The same way we are weaving, we are going to continue like that. Now this is how it's looking like. This line, 2 beads. I'm going to cross the other line into the second bead and pull. Like this. So your line turn to the side. This line, 3 beads. I'm going to cross the other line into the last bead and pull. So now over here, what I'm going to do, so this line, 2 beads, and I'm going to use this line to go through the top bead. And pull. So now this line, I'm going to go through this bead and come to the down bead. So I'm weaving my way, working my way with this line so I can enter the down bead over there. This one, I'm crossing my line into it, and I'm going to work with the other line and come through the same bead. This line into this and come to the bead. I'm going to go through the next bead like how we did for the first row. We are going to repeat the same thing over here. This line, 2 bead. I'm going to go through the next bead, 2 bead. Into the next bead, 2 bead. We are going to continue the same way we did for the first row. That's what we are repeating over here too. I'm going to add 2 bead to it. Now I'm going to weave to the end. And now I'm in the last bead. I'm going to cross my line into the last bead. I'm pulling through this last bead on the top. And this line, 2 bead. Now I'm going to step up over here again. This line, 2 bead. And I'm going to continue with this line. I'm going to add, this is how it's looking like. This line, I'm going to add 3 bead to it and cross it, the last bead with the other line. This line, 2 bead. I'm going to hold this line and go through the top bead and pull. And I'm going to repeat that same technique we did for the second row over here. I'm going to go to the side bead, this bead, and come to the middle bead. We are using the same technique over here. This into this and this one. I'm going to go into that one. This bead, my line is in that bead. I'm going to flip it over again like this because I'm right-handed, and I'm going to go to the next bead and add 2 bead. 2 bead. Into the next bead, 2 bead. We are repeating the same technique over here. I'm going to the next bead. You go through the edge bead or the edge bead and add 2 bead. That's all we are repeating over here. 2 bead. I'm going to go through the next bead and come to the last one. So I'm on the second to last. I'm going to this one and I'm going to add 2 bead again. Now I'm coming to the top into the last bead on the top. Go to the top, this one. 2 bead. So this is how the shape is looking like. This line, 2 bead. I'm repeating the same technique over here. I'm stepping up. So this line, 3 bead. I'm repeating the same technique we did for the first and second row. This line, 2 bead. I'm going to hold it and go to the top bead and pull. Repeat the same technique over here and go to the down bead. I'm going to hold this line into the side bead and come to the down bead. And I'm going to flip it over again and then continue my tutu beading. So flip it over, and we are going to continue to go through the edge bead and add tutu bead. Into the next bead, two bead. I'm going to go through the next bead again, continue the same way we did. Now I'm going to go through the top bead again into this one, the top bead. This line, two bead. So this is how it's looking like. And now we are going to step up over here again. This line, two bead. This line, three bead. So we are going to continue our beading again. Go through the edge bead and add two bead. Into the next bead, two bead. Into the next bead, we are repeating the same technique over here and the same pattern. To the next bead and add two bead. So we are going to continue until we complete this row. Continue until we complete. You can see how this is taking shape already. So here I'm coming to the top bead. So I can turn and start a new row again. We are just repeating the same thing over here. Two bead. So over here I add two bead. And I'm going to turn on this row with three bead. I'm going to flip it over and continue my weaving. Into the next bead, two bead. Into the next bead, I'm going to add two bead. So we are going to continue this way, go through the edge bead and add two bead until we complete this row. And now the next bead, this line, two bead. So this is what now I'm completed the second row. So I'm starting the third row over here with three bead. And we are going to continue to do the same. So this is how it's looking like so far. Continue to do the same and make two more rows. So in all it's gonna be 5 rows. This is how it's looking like. Continue to make yours. And this is how the shape is looking like. for this, we can make it long and step down so that on the other side we have the same shape. We are going to create long, but because some people are beginners and I don't want them to get confused, so what we are going to do is we are going to create the second part of this. You do the same thing again and do 2, so it's going to be 2, so we put it together and join them together, join the 2 pieces. So I made 2 like this. So if you make this, you make another one, so we put the 2 pieces together and join them. And I'm going to show you how we are going to join these 2 pieces together. This is my fresh cut of the line. I'm going to go through this edge bead over here, this edge bead. We'll go through this edge bead. Like this. And I'm going to add 1 bead to the line. Add 1 bead to this line. So I'm going to pull my line through this edge bead over here. And now I have my both lines together. So this line, now my line is in the bead. I'm going to cross both ends of that line into another bead. I'm crossing both ends of my line into this bead and pull. So now this line, I'm going to go through the next 2 beads. This one into this one and the opposite line into the other bead too. So I'm crossing both ends of my line into this bead and pull. I'm going to go through the next 2 beads, this line into the next 2 beads again. Cross this one into this and the other one on the opposite side. I'm crossing it into the bead and I'm crossing both ends of my line into this one. Pull down. So that is how we are going to continue to join the pieces together. I'm going to repeat this one more time, then we do the rest of camera. I'm crossing both ends of my line into this bead and I'm going to pull it down. So I'm going to continue and complete this off camera, and also you to do yours, and we'll come back and meet here. So this is how it's going to be. I'm going to close it and come back. This is how it's looking like. This is how the joining piece is looking like. For over here, I'm going to weave the rest of this line into the bead and trim it off. So now what we are going to do here, on the edge bead, I'm adding 3 beads. So we are going to create a border around this shape. We are going to weave around the shape. So I'm starting with 3 and I'm going to go to the next bead and add 2 beads. 2 beads. Into the next bead, 2 beads. Into the next bead, 2 beads. We are repeating the same technique we use for the weaving. That's what we are going to weave over here. We are repeating the same weave throughout the entire weave. So this is how we are going to create. We are going to weave around the edge. We're going to weave round. into the next bead, 2 bead. Go through the next bead, 2 bead. So this is how it's looking like. This is how the edge is looking like. I'm going to do it off camera. I'm going to weave around and stop in this bead over here. So you to do yours and we'll meet over here. Go round the edge. And now I'm going through the last bead. This is how the edge is looking like. I'm just creating a beautiful row around it. I'm going through the last bead. And I'm going to turn over here and start a new row. So in all, we are going to build 3 rows on this one with the yellow bead. Two bead. This is how it's looking like. This line, 3 bead. I'm going to go through the next bead. Now we start the second row. We are going to complete this second row and do the third row and make a third row again. In all, we are making 3 rows. So this is how 3 rows look like. If you complete the third row, this is how it's going to look like. And with this, I made the second one of these 2 again, and we are going to put it together and join it like how we put the 2 pieces together. So I'm going to join it over here, and I'm going to show you how we are going to put it together. This is how it's looking like. Make sure both pieces are equal sizes so that when you put it together, it will be perfectly lined up. I'm adding 1 bead to my line, and I'm going to go through. This is the bead I add to my line, okay? I'm going to go through this edge bead and the other line into the next piece over here through the edge bead, this one. So my line, I'm going to cross both ends of my line into a bead. The same way we put those 2 pieces together, we are going to repeat the same technique over here again. Pull. This line into the next bead. Go through the next bead, add 1 bead, cross both ends of your line into the bead and pull. Into the next bead, and this one too, I'm going to pull it through the next bead. I'm going to cross both ends of my line into this one, and I'm going to pull it down. The same technique we use, and this is how the joining is looking like. It's looking beautifully, very, very beautiful. This is how the joining is looking like. So we are going to continue to join these 2 pieces together until it's complete. And this is the complete side of it. It's looking gorgeous already. And now what I'm going to do, I'm going to give it a little push. This is how it's looking like. This is how it's looking like. Very beautiful. Very, very beautiful. And I have this piece over here that I'm going to attach to it, like a little pouch. I have a pouch that I'm going to attach to it the same way we attached 2 pieces. We are going to repeat the same thing over here, but this time we are going to go through the bead on the back. I'm going to go through this bead over here. And we are going to repeat the same thing. Just find the middle and position the piece that you made in the middle so that it doesn't look crooked when you are done. Beading is counting. If you don't count, you are going to have it's not going to look beautiful. You have to count and make sure everything is lined up, everything is positioned where it has to be positioned. That's how you can have a beautiful bag. So you have to count a lot. Counting is one thing with beading. This is a bead. I'm going to cross my line into it. So here I'm not going to waste time on it. I know you have the concept already to attach it. So this is how it's looking like. I'm going to do one more, then do the rest of camera. Yeah, this is how it's looking like. The pouch is done. You can fit your hand in it. This is the inside. And I'm going to give it a little push. So on the side, I'm going to tuck it in and then give it a shape. This is what I'm doing. I'm going to go through these 2 beads. I add a bead to the line and I'm going to go through the opposite bead. And pull. So these 2 beads, I'm going to add 1 bead. Cross both ends. This is how I did. And now I'm going to go through the next 2 beads on the top. Over here, this one, and the line is going to go through the other one. So you find your middle and go through the bead that you want to go through to give it a shape like this. And now we give it a shape. This is how the shape is looking like. Very pretty, very, very beautiful. This line, I'm just going to weave it back into the bead and trim it off. Make sure it's well secured. And I'm going to do the same thing on the other side too, over here. Now it's looking pretty good already. It's looking very, very good. Let me push this one out. Yeah. And this is the shape we are aiming at. This is how it's looking like. So I don't want this video to be long, so I'm going to cut this one over here. So we continue. The second one too is out, so you can look for it. I think it's in the end screen. So we continue. So please watch part 2 of this video so you can have idea and complete your bag. This is how it's looking like. Thank you for watching, and please don't forget to visit my Etsy shop. And don't forget to subscribe and share.